Hi folks, I'm H, and I come in here with my shades on to protect the eyes during this time period of COVID. Come in here with my mask on. Appearance says a lot. Physical fitness says a lot. My dad taught me that looking the part or looking good is 90% of any battle. You know, when they asked me to talk about physical fitness, everything is about the statement that you make and the appearance. And so my dad instilled in me early in life, always look good, always look fit. And so I thought about what to wear. Do I come in here in Western attire, in a suit and tie? Do I come in here with a tight-fitting shirt? Because an audio-visual aid might speak even more than words would impart. This is what I settled on, sort of like a coach's attire to indicate my level of physical fitness, handed down to me by my dad, who would walk around. And for those of you who may be tired or otherwise falling asleep, he would hit his midsection like this, okay? Smack it hard, make the sound to show you how tight it was and everything else. And he would say, look at me at half 100. You guys try to look like this at half 100. So that pretty much set the tone and the standard for me. For those out there who are younger, you now try to look like me. Well, I'm past half 100, but we'll talk about that some other time, maybe in the question and answer time period. Half 100. You try to have tightness here and a physique that looked like me, looked like my dad. That was what my brothers and I strived for, and that became our challenge throughout life, to look like that, to be more physically fit, to be in better shape. It was always about achievement. Why do I talk like that? Why do I talk about that? Because the introduction that you have on the brochure talks about my now being a retired football player, indicating to you that I spent 22 years of organized football. That became my livelihood. But it didn't start out just like this. I didn't wake up and become, or say I was going to become, a professional football player. I had to get there, and I had to work to get there. So that could be the primary reason for why I am here to talk to you about physical fitness. Either before or after me, you'll hear my son talk about things being instilled in him, being imparted to him at a very early age. So for the young folks out there, dream big, want to go someplace, and start now. For me, it started around the age of 9 or 10 when I went out for a little football game, a little football, mini football, minor league, something like that they called it. And I began then. And my dad would simply remind us, did you guys run today? It started with running, started with getting in shape, started with getting the breathing right, being able to carry yourself from point A to point B and run longer or faster than anybody else. Always about achievement, always about doing more and what you could do. That included development of the body and develop of the mind. Running, if my brother was here to join me in this presentation, he would talk about when there was stress, when there was something going on. He would talk about going out and pounding pavement. That to us meant hit the road running. If we forgot something, my dad would tell us hit the road. We would think of it as, oh, now we have to hit the road. But thinking back, it was about getting physically fit. It was about getting in shape and achieving. So I talked to you about the importance of that. For those of you who may be starting late in physical fitness, breathing. My grandfather, my dad's dad, would come out and just take deep breaths in front of his children just to get the breathing right. Raise his hands up. Put them out to the side. You can start right now where you are. Hold your arms out to the side. Then turn them over. Then bring them in front. Then put them up in the air. Put them down again out to the side. Hold them there. Now turn them over. Now bring it front. Now turn them over. Open and close your hands. Move your wrist. Pick your legs up and down. That's what I'm doing right now. Just picking them up, putting them down. Moving the arms. Now, if you do that as you listen to me right now, whether you're seated down and you do it, if you do that today and then do more tomorrow and then do more the next day, hold your arms up to 15 seconds. You will begin to work the body. You will begin to get physically fit. Why do I pick the arms out to the side? Playing football, I had a lot of shoulder injuries. So I would always remember to maintain shoulder strength. It clicks every time I pick it up, every time I move it, but I try to keep the strength up in the shoulders. Okay? You go to get up, so you get up in the same time you get up from the table to move the plate or to get something from the refrigerator. Say, hold it, let's do that again. Let's hit rewind. Let's hit replay. And you go down, you sit down, and you get back up again. If you're going over to get something to drink right now as you're listening to me, repeat it. Hit rewind, hit replay, instant replay, and do it twice. And then tomorrow you do that 3 times. Just about doing more to become physically fit. So it doesn't make a difference what age you're starting at. Whether you're young or whether you're old, you can do something to stay physically fit. Now, considering the audience and the fact that this presentation is for the NAACP, we are a people who have come through a lot, to put it mildly. We have done that because those before us worked hard in ways that are unimaginable, but they passed down an ability to be physically fit. That is why black people predominate many of the sports, because we were bred to be that way. And that's just part of history. That's part of who we are. That's part of the reality. We need to remember that and to carry forth and capitalize upon that we are physically fit. Don't let it go to waste. We know the history. We know what's going on. We know that there's a liquor store in every corner. Okay? We know that the poison is out there for us to take and that we have to resist it. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's do what we can to resist. I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I don't do any other drug. When I was younger, we talked about alcohol. When I had the platform as an active football player, I talked about alcohol is the #1 drug. I stand here before you, both young and old, and talk about never even trying it. Not once, because I dared to be different, to stand apart from the crowd. I encourage you to do it right now. My dad, as an example, and you hear me speak about, my dad used to smoke 3.5 packs of cigarettes a day. What more poison could he be put into his body? He stopped cold turkey as an example to his athlete sons coming up in behind him. Nothing stops any one of us from stopping cold turkey from putting that poison into the body. Think about those coming behind you, like our ancestors who fought and died and were lynched and were castrated before us, so that we now can talk about physical fitness and anything else you want to talk about. Because one of the other things, in addition to being a retired football player, I've given up the practice of law after nearly 25 years of practicing law. I have lectured and taught in classrooms all across America, mostly on the East Coast and things like that. I've coached track, I've coached football. Heck, I've even coached baseball, semi-pro, college, high school. So when we do get to question and answer, ask me anything, because I'm smart. I have said that any black man living in America over the age of 50, which I am, is an expert on race and racism. So when it gets to the question and answer, when we get to that part, ask me anything. If I don't know the answer, I'll get out and find it for you. And by the way, I know you're going to have me back, because if I said something out there that offended any of you, you have to bring me back to apologize. And if I said something that you like, you got to bring me back so you can hear more of it. Physical fitness, looking good, is 90% of the battle.
Hello to all. My name is Stan Hamilton. I am a junior psychology major at Prairie View A&M University. I want to start by thanking the committee chairman, the president, and all other distinguished members and guests in the audience here today. I, unfortunately, do not have an interpreter here with me. So for those who are hearing impaired, I'm hoping that sometime later, when this goes global, there will be an opportunity for you to ensure that everybody worldwide can listen in and hear what has to be said today. As a collegiate athlete, I'm proud and very excited to be able to share on the topics of physical health and well-being today. I want to be able to stress the importance of both of these aspects and really reach out to the members of a younger audience, of those my age and below me. As a little bit of a background, the mentality of maintaining physical health and wellness has been instilled in me since I was a young boy. I remember my father simply talking about what it means to stay in shape. Going back to when we were about 6 or 7 years old, he started my brother and I off with just running a quarter mile every day. We, of course, were not really pleased with that aspect. It wasn't necessarily in our interest or anything else like that. Now, we were very active in a variety of other capacities. We did sports such as soccer, to basketball, to swimming, to tennis, etc. Everybody has their likes and their dislikes. The main thing is to ensure that you're exercising. I know that for me personally, running long distances was not necessarily my forte. So of course, what ends up happening? I am enrolled in the local cross-country program. Yeah, I wasn't too excited to say the least. However, looking back, it was never about becoming a cross-country star. All it was about exercise, building a strong foundational cardiovascular base that I can then take and use going forward in any aspect I chose to progress. And that's what happened. Years later, I ultimately found my love and passion for track and field. Moving on to go into high school to become Pennsylvania state champion, multiple-time All-American in the decathlon and pentathlon nationally, and even becoming national youth champion before being recruited collegiately. For the younger viewers, I want to stress this. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I've never tried it, and I don't necessarily have an intention to try it. It's been a concept that was instilled in me again from a young age. I was always being told, why put things in the body that are going to inhibit or mitigate your physical and mental capacities? As such, it became a staple as part of my character and my development in my body. In terms of the importance of physical health and well-being, it's important to encapsulate both the physical aspects of the body and the mental effects on the psyche. Physical health, by definition, refers not only to disease and illness not being present, but also to regularly exercising, balancing nutrition, and getting adequate rest. Wellness, by definition, refers to the active pursuit of better improving both the physical and mental outcomes in one's life. So as such, I hope to touch upon the importance of all these aspects. In regards to physical fitness and regular exercising, it's important to keep that in mind for anybody of a young age in building and developing their body. Between the ages of 6 and 17, the CDC recommends that you get at least 1 hour of moderate activity a day, with 3 days being devoted to intense physical activity, like long-distance running or lifting weights. From 18 and on, it's generally expected that you get about 150 minutes in a week. However, these are simply recommendations. As I said before, everybody's going to have their likes and their dislikes. So I want to stress this. Even if you don't think that you have the time nor the interest in exercising, do something. Something as simple as opening and closing your hands can be a form of exercise that can help you build your body and maintain that level of physical fitness. Anything simple that you choose to do can become part of a routine that'll take you forward in growth and development. Stepping into nutrition, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time there. I'm not a nutritionist, and I'm certainly not going to pretend to be. My father had to fight me on eating my vegetables until the day I left for college. But I will say this. When I got to college, I had the opportunity to skip out on any of the healthy nutritional diets that I had learned all the way coming through high school and before. But I remember my first time being in the dining hall. I had my plate of food, was ready to go eat, and I was passing by the vegetable table. And I just heard this little voice in the back of my head, and it said, "You better put some vegetables on your plate." And though I groaned internally, I did just that. And I'm glad that I did, because I've since learned that nutrition is a large part of physical health and physical well-being. In fact, it's said that when it comes to weight loss and maintaining a target weight, that nutrition can be almost as up to 80% of the battle. I say that to say, whether it be from a nutritionist, your parents, a peer, or anybody else, please listen to those who are trying to help you maintain a balanced and healthy diet. Moving on to rest, it's very important to keep this concept in mind in terms of the ability for it to help you process the things that you've learned throughout the day and recover from any of the physical stresses that your body undertook. Now, the ranges in which people are supposed to sleep varies as you go across the board. The Mayo Clinic suggests that for those who are under 12, that you get at least 12 hours of sleep for every 24-hour period. After 12, it's still expected that you get at least 8 hours of sleep, ranging all the way up to 10. And again, there are those who are going to feel like that they don't have the time in order to do something, that they have a busy schedule. I was busy constantly throughout the week. Luckily, I was allowed to sleep in often during the weekends. After track meets, I might come home and crash out for 11 or 12 hours, because that's just what my body needed. I implore you to please listen to your body when it craves sleep. It needs that recovery. It needs that reset. Even if you feel like you don't have the time, I ask that you find brief moments to take even a 20-minute break. Allow the mind and body to reset and refresh itself. If you don't believe that sleep has any impact on your functionality, See what happens when you begin to get a little bit more sleep, a little bit more towards the healthy median, and watch just how much you can improve. Now, for any young person watching, I don't want you to think that maintaining physical health and wellness is any hard, long, drawn out, or boring process that you have to dedicate an hour every day to, or you have to ensure that you're maintaining a rigorous schedule. All it takes is doing something. Open and close your hands, work the forearms, go for a jog, stretch, anything that you can do during the day. Exchange a chocolate bar for a cup of fruit. Take a day to catch up on some rest. Anything is going to have that positive impact. And as long as you're treating the body and the mind well, you'll see benefits all over the life. Now, I've talked about the mind a couple of times, as it's very important, especially going back to the definition of wellness. And I don't want to diminish the importance of both physical and mental well-being, nor how they play a part together. Physical exercise is known to have many positive effects on the mental and the psyche. Take the example of the runner's high, which is a state of when you're running, eventually you'll feel this brief but deep feeling of euphoria. Something that I've even experienced as someone who does not particularly like long distance running. And quite frankly, it's a better high than you can get from anywhere else. A lot more appropriate too. Dr. David Linden from Johns Hopkins Medicine has often found that there are plenty of other long-term life effects that running or regular exercise can have, including improved memory, elevated mood, and just overall condensed better well-being for the life individual. But I also want to stress the importance of the mental health outside of any sort of physical fitness. Why? Because since my time in high school, I found that it can be very hard to seek out help or even know where to find it if you need it. So please, I will again implore you, seek an ear if you need it, and be an ear if somebody needs you. Since working in this field of psychology, I've found that peer counseling can help alleviate many negative stresses just by simply having someone to talk to. But don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore the feelings that you're having. And I ask you, please don't choose a negative coping mechanism or something that'll provide further detriment to the body going forward. Listen to the body. Seek help. Reach out. Never forget that your mental health is just as important as your physical health and physical fitness. With that being said, I thank you for listening here to me and taking the time to enjoy the stature of physical health, well-being, and the effects that it has on both the body and the mind. Thank you again.
Hello, my name is Felicia Bell-Rakowski, and I'm a holistic nutritionist in private practice in Bayonne, New Jersey, since 2006. I'm considered a master clinician due to the variety of cases I've handled over the past 15 years. The topic I'm discussing today is entitled Comorbidities in the African American Community as they relate to COVID-19 and other variants. So let's get started. What is a comorbidity? In medicine, comorbidity is the presence of one or more additional conditions, often co-occurring with a primary condition. Comorbidity describes the effect of all other conditions an individual patient might have other than the primary condition of interest. It can be physiologic or psychologic in its expression. Obesity is a common comorbidity. There are approximately 236 medical problems, including 13 types of cancer, linked with obesity, according to the Obesity Medicine Association. Common comorbidities for those who are obese include insulin resistance, a condition that is considered a precursor to type 2 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, dyslipidemia, or high blood fat levels such as high cholesterol, cardiovascular disease, stroke, arthritis, sleep apnea, a sleep disorder in which breathing repeatedly stops for short periods of time, gallbladder disease, the formation of gallstones, high uric acid levels, osteoarthritis or degenerative joint disease, certain types of cancer, breast cancer, colorectal cancer, gallbladder cancer, depression. Examples of factors involved in the development of comorbidities for those with obesity include physical metabolic stress, which may cause many of the body's organs, such as the heart and kidneys, to become negatively impacted. Biomechanical stress, which is caused by the impact of carrying around excess weight for your body and bone structure. This can result in comorbidities such as osteoarthritis, an increase in hormones and other substances secreted by adipose or fat tissue, which impacts the endocrine system. This can result in diabetes and other metabolic conditions. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is on the rise in the United States due to a huge increase in obesity rates over the last 3 decades. Now, the liver is the largest internal organ performing hundreds of functions, including processing everything we eat and drink, pulling toxins from the blood, fighting off infections, controlling blood sugar levels by storing glucose or sugar to power cells during periods of low blood sugar. Skipping meals and poor nutrition can lower blood sugar. The liver acts as a fuel reservoir, helping to keep blood sugar levels and other body fuels steady and constant. The liver also helps to manufacture hormones and proteins. The liver normally weighs about 3 pounds. When more than 5 to 10% of your liver's weight is fat, you have what's known as a fatty liver. Symptoms of impaired liver function include fatigue, nausea, abdominal pain, yellowing of the skin or eyes. Any elevation of the blood test, ALT, is a direct indication of a liver injury, be it minor or severe. Now, I don't ascribe to the notion that is a commonly held belief in how information is being communicated to the public. The characterization of African American people having a greater risk of COVID over other ethnic groups. It's commonly thought that the African American community has experienced a higher morbidity from COVID-19 than other ethnic groups. I think there are a number of factors that play into those statistics. In a study done through APM Research Labs, it was reported that deaths due to COVID-19 were greater in Indigenous American communities than the African American community. There's a study taken from a New York City urban medical center serving a majority African American population, which reports less than half of those who tested positive for COVID-19 required hospitalization. 88% of the patients were Black, over 50% were obese, and 98% had one or more comorbidity, including hypertension. As a holistic practitioner, I personally handled over 100 cases of coronavirus, producing symptom abatement in less than 12 hours, no hospitalizations, no ventilators, all or most with comorbidities. Now, there are steps that you can take immediately to offset your risk of comorbidities. One of which is know what your barriers to healing are. Become aware and conscious of your health, your stamina, your regularity, your sleep. Answer for yourself, what role is my environment playing in my health? For help in answering these and other health-related questions, and to learn more about what I do, you can visit my website at www.walkinhealth, all one word, .net, or call us at 201-455-5056. Have a blessed day, and God bless you with health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Trey Ahia. This is a great opportunity for us to come together as a people, as a community. Thank you to the NAACP Bayonne branch for this health webinar. Have you ever experienced a moment or a time period in your life when you've been involved in situations and they make you feel so uncomfortable and you're just not certain how to remove yourself? Or perhaps you're in a relationship where you know it's an uncomfortable relationship with a child, a relative, a mother, a daughter, a spouse, even a friend. So what are you to do? Well, making certain that your mental health is important is key. So, what is my mental health? What does that even mean? Someone may ask. So our mental health is comprised of how we think, feel, and process things that go on around us. Our ability to make the most appropriate decisions about our wellness, our psychological being, our cognitive abilities, making certain that we are doing the best that we can do to make ourselves healthy. Well, for many of us, that's a trial because humans are drawn by emotion. And because of our relationships, because of our experiences, because of our past with our friends and family, and perhaps even how we were raised, those simple things that happen in our life as children can determine our mental ability and our mental health as adults. So then what do we do then if we are caught in situations where we know that our mental health is being challenged? We can see it physically. We can see that our hair may be falling out. We can see that our health in terms of our physical health is being stressed more. We can see that we don't find joy in some of the things that we used to find joy in. Simple things like taking a walk or just talking to our friends on the phone or going bowling. These things now have no value for us. So your mental health then is challenged. And so it's important so that you don't feel so down and beat and no place to turn to seek support. And that support can come from groups, that support can come from, seeing things like this webinar online, things where or you're trying to understand more about who you are and how to maintain your mental well-being, how to avoid being associated with individuals that are toxic or things that are toxic in your life. So one of the things that is important to remember through this process is that it doesn't happen overnight. The mere fact that individuals struggle every day with their mental health it doesn't happen overnight. That part of moving from mental wellness to mental illness didn't happen in one swoop. So we need to be cognizant of that, and we need to support ourselves and put ourselves in the proximity of those who are able to help us move past that, or to move out of those situations that are not helpful for us. Some individuals find it helpful to go into rehabs depending on their situation, or 3 to 5 night stays in facilities that can help jumpstart you and get you into that more healthier frame of thought. Now, because you might have gone to seek those sources doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to hold on to those thoughts, because again, it doesn't happen overnight. So the mere fact that you're seeking the support is important. How do you seek the support? You ask someone, you talk to individuals that are clearly aware of the struggles that you might have. Get online, Google support health for mental health in the tri-state area, there in New Jersey, New York, or Connecticut. Also, it may be good too, once you are at a solid footing, it may not be a bad idea to literally remove yourself from the area. Make a plan of how that would look, and then go forward with that. The idea is that there's no quick fix to changing something that has occurred over a course of time. It may not have happened in a 1-day episode or 5-week situation. It may have happened over more than 5 or 10 years. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process of relearning how to move yourself to a mental state where you are healthy again, where you do not feel that weight that's on you, where that weight becomes released. And as that weight becomes released off of you, then your mental well-being itself will begin to be healthier, and you will feel that. And maintaining those supports is key to your success in your mental health. So you can also make sure that you keep a little log of those individuals that have been there to help you. Hopefully this has been helpful, and hopefully you will be able to maintain your mental wellness.